Get to our top story now, and chaos strikes, shelves stripped bare as the Woolies warehouse strike enters its third week. The supermarket is preparing to front the Fair Work Commission, but there's a creepy reason why workers are walking off the job, and it could affect you.
We noticed that there's no Solo on the shelves anymore.
The alcohol started to disappear off the shelf.
Frustrated shoppers facing shelves stripped bare, weeks out from the holidays.
It's very concerning. People need to get their stuff.
Maybe problem for me and others in the near future for Christmas.
Hopefully they do something about it soon.
The shortages are a result of more than 1,500 Woolies workers striking for 2 long weeks, some forming a picket line blocking the front of a Melbourne distribution centre.
Woolworths can finish this today. We know what the solution is.
A move Woolworths says has already cost it $50 million as it prepares to take workers to the Fair Work Commission.
As the government, our position is very clear that we'd like to see this dispute resolved as quickly as possible.
But workers aren't just striking over low wages. Their top concern is a so-called productivity framework. Using headsets to monitor warehouse staff, it measures their performance against a set target rate as they're picking products, packing boxes and doing other tasks. It even tracks them during their breaks.
Working to a speed metric that you must hit 100% of the time is unsafe, it's unreasonable, everyone is different.
It's an issue one Woolies worker recently revealed to the project.
You're on edge. You're always in fear of when are they going to actually come and tap you on the shoulder that you're not doing your job for the day.
His identity concealed for fear of losing his job.
We're humans, we're not robots, and we need to be treated that way, and it's a big thing, profits before people. And it's a big fear.
Woolies maintains the framework takes into account personal circumstances and that it's used to ensure a fair approach towards productivity.
Every business in Australia has a form of performance management, and for Woolworths, we're really focused on how do we pick, pack, deliver and get those products onto the shelves as efficiently as we can.
But as a growing number of companies push employees to go faster and harder through surveillance technology, is there more at stake than this one group of disgruntled workers?
Well, here to tell us is workplace surveillance expert Dr. Christopher O'Neill. Chris, we just heard what Woolies is accused of, but just how widespread is the practice of employers essentially spying on their workers?
It's extremely widespread, and it's something that we're seeing that's becoming more common, not just in warehouses, not even just in blue-collar workplaces, white-collar workplaces as well, and especially with people working from home more and more, that sort of workplace surveillance is moving into the home space as well. We're seeing the entrance of wearable technologies into the workplace, things that can literally monitor the movement of your hands, how many steps you're taking, these kind of things in kind of increasingly intimate detail.
Doc, being tracked the entire time you're at work, it sounds pretty bad. It happens here to me. I'm sick of it. Cameras everywhere. But as surveillance technology kind of evolves, do you think there would be other things that bosses could start measuring?
Absolutely. So say even face recognition monitoring now, right? There's technologies that can they claim to be able to measure how much you're concentrating. Are your eyes wandering from the screen when you're meant to be on Zoom calls or whatever, when you're meant to be interviewing academics and that kind of thing? The sky's the limit as far as these tech surveillance developers are concerned, I suppose.
What do you think the biggest dangers are for the workers? I mean, when it comes to Woolies in this particular case, but extending beyond that as well.
Well, I think burnout's an obvious one, right? And this is the real problem, right? Even if you're measuring, okay, how much can be done in a day? Now, is how much can be done in a day the same as, can you do that every day for a week? Can you do that every week for a year? Can you do that every year for 10 years, 20 years, right? Now, these are not the kind of long-term kind of questions that are usually taken into account when these standards are being brought up, right? Employers have a duty of care to their workers. They can't just bring them in and churn them out with these kind of, by trying to get them to meet these sort of very difficult rates, right? Amazon, of course, in America are notorious for this, and they're notorious for their sort of churn and burn approach to hiring, burning people out, and then, bringing in new workers. But what Amazon is finding is they're literally running out of workers in areas, right? So burnouts are that's the big one. But the other one is, warehouses are dangerous. They're dangerous workplaces. People do die in warehouses. I'm not saying people have died because of these standards, but if workers are second-guessing themselves, they're like, oh God, I've got to make rate, they're not paying attention to what's the safest way to do this thing. That's a real danger, all right? And that needs to be taken seriously.
OK, Chris, thanks so much for your time.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.